In the ancient world, where myth and history danced a delicate, often indistinguishable tango, symbols held immense power. They were not mere decorations, but the very language of identity, authority, and destiny. Among these, few are as majestic or as enduring as the winged lion. From the sun-scorched plains of Mesopotamia to the shimmering canals of Venice, this magnificent creature has soared through the human imagination for millennia, a potent emblem of power, divinity, and courage. Its story is not a single narrative, but a rich tapestry woven from threads of conquest, faith, and artistic expression. To trace the flight of the winged lion is to journey back to the dawn of civilization itself, and witnessed how a single, powerful image can transcend cultures and epochs, forever capturing the spirit of humanity's grandest aspirations. This is the story of the winged lion, a creature born of legend, yet as real as the empires it came to represent. The origins of this fantastical beast are rooted deep in the Fertile Crescent, specifically in the ancient civilizations of Mesopotamia. Long before it became the symbol of a serene republic, the winged lion was a terrifying and awe-inspiring figure in the mythologies of the Sumerians, Akkadians, Babylonians, and Assyrians. In this world, gods and monsters walked the earth, and the boundaries between the natural and supernatural were fluid. The lion, already a symbol of royalty, strength, and raw, untamable power, was a natural choice for representing divine authority and martial prowess. By adding the wings of an eagle, the king of the skies, Mesopotamian cultures created a composite creature that embodied absolute supremacy over both heaven and earth. This was not a creature of gentle protection, but one of divine might and fearsome guardianship. One of the earliest and most formidable representations of this concept is the Lamassu, a protective deity from ancient Assyrian culture. Typically depicted with the body of a bull or a lion, the wings of an eagle, and a human head. The Lamassu was a celestial being, a hybrid of the highest order. Colossal statues of these winged lions, carved from single blocks of stone, were placed at the entrances to palaces and cities, such as the Grand Palace of King Sargon, the second at Tor. They served as intimidating spiritual guardians, their triple nature symbolizing intelligence, strength, and freedom. Gazing upon them, any visitor, whether friend or foe, would be immediately struck by the immense power of the king. They served a ruler who commanded the protection of beings that bridged the gap between the mortal and divine realms. The Lamassu's stern, human face stared forward, warding off evil, while its powerful lion's body stood ready to pounce. It was a clear and unequivocal statement. Here lies a domain protected by a power beyond human comprehension. As empires rose and fell, the symbol of the winged lion traveled, carried on the winds of conquest and trade. The Achaemenid Empire, or the First Persian Empire, inherited and adapted many of the artistic and symbolic traditions of the Babylonians and Assyrians they conquered. In the sprawling, multicultural capital of Persepolis, reliefs depicting winged lions adorned the walls of palaces, a testament to the continuity of this powerful symbol. The Persians, however, began to subtly shift its meaning. While still a representation of royal power and protection, the Persian winged lion, often depicted in a more stylized and graceful form, also came to symbolize a more sophisticated and cosmopolitan empire, one that ruled over diverse peoples with a sense of divine order and justice. The creature was less a terrifying monster and more a regal emblem of a divinely sanctioned monarchy that brought stability to a vast and varied world. But the winged lion's most famous and enduring association was forged much later in a city that seemed to rise impossibly from the waters of a lagoon: Venice. The story of how this Mesopotamian guardian became the symbol of the Venetian Republic is a fascinating blend of religious faith, political ambition, and strategic rebranding. The key to this transformation lies in the figure of Saint Mark the Evangelist, one of the 4 authors of the Gospels in the Christian New Testament. According to a deeply cherished Venetian legend, while traveling through the lands that would one day become Venice, Saint Mark took shelter from a storm. In a dream, an angel appeared to him in the form of a winged lion and greeted him with the words, Pax tibi, Marse, Evangelista, Muse, hic requisit, corpus tuum. This translates to, Peace be with you, Mark, my evangelist. Here your body will rest. This prophecy became the foundational myth for Venice's spiritual and political destiny. For centuries, Venice was a subordinate of the Byzantine Empire, and its patron saint was a Greek, Saint Theodore. However, as the city grew in wealth and power, its leaders yearned for a patron saint with more prestige and a direct link to the heart of the Christian faith, one who could rival Rome's Saint Peter. In 828 AD, 2 Venetian merchants, in a daring act of pious theft, smuggled the relics of Saint Mark from Alexandria, Egypt, hiding them in a barrel of pork to deter inspection by Muslim guards. The arrival of the saint's body in Venice was a monumental event. It fulfilled the prophecy and gave Venice its own apostolic patron, instantly elevating its status in the Christian world. To house these precious relics, the city began the construction of a magnificent basilica, the Basilica di San Marco, a stunning testament to its newfound spiritual independence. With Saint Mark as its patron, his symbol, the winged lion, was immediately and enthusiastically adopted as the emblem of the Venetian Republic. The Lion of Saint Mark became ubiquitous throughout the city and its vast maritime empire. It was carved onto buildings, stamped onto coins, and emblazoned on the crimson banners of its powerful navy. The symbol was not just a religious icon. It was a political statement. It represented the fusion of divine sanction, civic pride, and military might that defined the Republic of Venice, known as or the most serene Republic. The winged lion of Venice was a masterclass in political iconography, conveying multiple layers of meaning tailored to its audience. The depiction of the lion itself was rich with symbolism. Most famously, the lion is often shown with its paw resting on an open book, inscribed with the legendary greeting, Pax tibi, Evangelista meus. The open book symbolized Venice's sovereignty and wisdom in times of peace, a state it preferred for conducting its lucrative trade. It was a message of welcome to merchants and diplomats. However, when the Republic was at war, the lion was often depicted with a closed book and a raised sword. This was a clear and intimidating warning to its enemies. Venice's peace was not a sign of weakness. The serene Republic was fiercely protective of its interests and possessed the military strength to defend them. This dual representation perfectly captured Venice's pragmatic and formidable character. Republic of merchants that commanded one of the most powerful navies in the world. From the Grand Piazza San Marco, where a bronze lion stands atop a granite column, to the far-flung outposts of its empire in Crete, Croatia, and the Greek Isles, the Lion of St. Mark was a constant reminder of Venetian authority. To see the lion was to see Venice itself. For the citizens of the Republic, it was a source of immense pride, a symbol of their unique identity and their city's miraculous rise from the sea. For those under Venetian rule, it was a symbol of law, order, and power. For its rivals, it was the emblem of a formidable economic and military competitor. The lion was a diplomat, a warrior, and a judge, all in one. It represented justice through the book of law and power, through its noble and fierce posture. The fall of the Venetian Republic to Napoleon in 1797 marked the end of an era, and the conqueror, well aware of the symbol's power, sought to humiliate the city by toppling its lions. The great bronze lion of Piazza San Marco was taken to Paris as a spoil of war, only to be returned after Napoleon's final defeat. Yet, even with a republic gone, the winged lion did not die. Its spirit endured, forever intertwined with the identity of Venice. Today, it remains the city's beloved symbol, a feature on the Venetian flag, and a constant presence in its art and architecture. It speaks not of a lost empire, but of a resilient and timeless cultural heritage. From the ancient, fearsome Lamassu of Assyria, a guardian of kings, to the serene and wise Lion of Saint Mark, a symbol of a republic. The journey of the winged lion is a remarkable story of symbolic evolution. It is a creature that has been constantly reimagined, adapting its meaning to suit the needs and aspirations of new cultures and new eras. It represents the raw power of monarchy, the divine sanction of faith, the wisdom of law, and the courage of a people. The winged lion soars above history, a timeless icon of strength, divinity, and justice. It reminds us that the greatest symbols are not those that remain static, but those that have the power to fly across millennia, carrying the dreams and legacies of civilizations on their magnificent wings. This is the enduring legacy of the winged lion, a creature of myth that became one of history's most powerful truths.